Welcome back to Turned One's Love. Hello. Hi. We are on the third video, including the introduction. And this video today is all about why consistency matters. Sadhana, and it's the practice. So this is about discipline, presence, real life application. You never know where the practice is going to take you, but what is important is sadhana. So this is what I'm going to be speaking about mainly in this video. It's a word from Sanskrit that means a path of practice, a path towards accomplishment, of self-realization. It's a disciplined and intentional practice that supports growth, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Sadhana can take many forms. It might be meditation, yoga, prayer, or chanting, breath work, studying spiritual texts, or even the small mindful habits we bring into our daily lives. So like how we are aware of our food and where it comes from, what it smells like, and taking the appreciation of it and being in the practice of food, of life force energy, of every moment, every breath, in all the time, and not just on our mat, right? But then off our mat at all times. So at its core, it's about consistency. It's about showing up for yourself again and again. And it's less about perfection and more about a commitment over time. And this has been really important for me because I was so pulled with different practices because I benefited from them in different ways. And I think honestly it's different for everyone. But I do think that each practice has a unique, special gift to give to you, or to allow to be seen within you. And it comes with a commitment over time. And it doesn't have to be perfect, like getting the posture perfect, or everyone's so constantly on about perfection, but it's not about that. It's like me doing this, have the whole rig and everything, and I was like, I am a one person and doing multitude of things, and I thought, well, what is important is the information and the integration I've integrated in my practice of yoga, and my wisdom that's come from that, and many avenues of sadhana, through the breath work and through the sitting meditations and everything. So I began to understand that it's through the effort and focus of sadhana that we start to cultivate awareness, and also a sense of detachment or non-dependence, when we begin to allow things to be just as they are and trust that what is happening for us and not against us. Something within us then starts to soften. We begin to let go of outcomes, let go of the expectation of an outcome, or of material attachments. That starts to fade. The wanting or the needing of material attachments to feel like that's going to give us some kind of sense of worth or belonging or something. That starts to go in the sadhana, in the continuous practice, and of the judgments we hold about ourselves and others as well. Also, we start to become aware of, and then once we set aside judgment, and rewire the conditioning that we've been brainwashed into to kind of judge everything and ourselves. Once all that's clear, then we've got such a more beautiful space to hold within ourselves and to hold for others, and it's creating that space that we make way for something deeper, for truth, for love, and for something more sacred to come through. In that sense, the daily practice of yoga becomes a quiet devotion. It's an invitation to both discipline and surrender. And it's in that balance that something deeper can meet us. As it is said in the Yoga Sutras, yoga is realized through practice and surrender. And this brings us into something very simple, but very important. And it's not a need to be perfect. It's just a need to be present. So often in yoga, we feel like we need to get everything right. And, I think we all go through that. We worry that we're not good enough or that we're being judged by others. Maybe it's because there's a posture that we can't do, or because emotions begin to arise that we weren't expecting. But the truth is, no one's really looking. Everyone is in their own experience. A big part of yoga is learning to accept where we are, exactly as we are. We all have different bodies, different capabilities and capacities, and different things we're moving through at that time. And there's no one way that should look. It should look a certain way. So the practice becomes about meeting ourselves with compassion, kind of softening all of that pressure and the judgment and the need to be anything other than what we are in that moment. And in that letting go, we begin to create a space for the present moment to fully arrive. And we begin to apply this practice. It often starts with the physical body, through movement, through breath, through awareness. And then we begin to notice it more. And in that awareness leads to growth. But yoga invites us to go further than doing. It invites us to step aside, to let go, and to allow something deeper to unfold. And it's said by Tiwari, which is in my yoga teacher training manual. Lack of awareness can only be removed by practice, not study. Study may remove a lack of knowledge, but it's not the same as experience. Our understanding must change through practice. And this is where the deeper philosophy begins to meet our experience. And as we continue to return to ourselves in this way, through practice, through awareness, through presence, we begin to create space. Space to observe, space to soften, and space to simply be with what is. And maybe over time we begin to notice something subtle, a shift, that not everything we experience is who we are. I hope that's landed for you in the most beautiful possible way. And I know that we can, face resistance when it comes to practice, because maybe it's not something we've been doing since we were a child, or we're so used to being governed by, the media, by notifications, by addictions and things to have quick fixes that make us feel good instantly, but then fade very quickly. As much as it feels good in 1 minute, buying something new fades, and then when that feeling fades, we want the next thing, and we keep buying, and we keep hoping to find this meaning and this purpose and this something. But in sadhana, we create that space for that clarity to come in, where we actually, in the practice, is all that we need. And we find our stability and our grounding in that practice. And it's a beautiful space to be in. It's truly special and connected. And I think our determination and our motivation, once we've had that experience, will then give us that push to keep going, to keep practicing, no matter what that is for you in that day. And there's no pressure, but the consistency over time is what will bring you the outcome that you could be looking for. And it might not always come as you want it to come, but allowing that process to unfold naturally is what matters and is what's important. And that detachment to outcome is what will allow the grace to run through you. And with that, we will explore a bit more about that in our next video. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed this, and it's a bit shorter than our last video, but I'm trying to break it down into simple ways, so I'm not putting so much in one video. But as I said in the last video, you can check out my other YouTube channel for practices. So they're free, and they're like short meditation and spiritual practices you can find on my Turn Towards Love meditation channel, or you can go on my Gumroad and you can see a list of all the different products I have available for you on there. And they're longer practices. The night practice I super recommend as well, because it's so nice to be able to be guided into sleep, but it's more about getting in touch with the astral world and the astral body as well. If you want to deepen your practice further, and you've been doing yoga for a while, or meditation, or you've been a part of the spiritual world for a while, you might want to get in touch with that, more of the astral world. Or you can find my astrology readings on there as well. I'm also an astrologer. Let me know, and I will do my best to deliver. Okay, well, I will see you on the next video. Thank you for being here. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, into the belly, allowing it to rise up through to the shoulders, to the crown of the head, and let it travel all the way down the spine on the exhale, through the root, connecting to the earth. May you ground this knowledge, this wisdom, here with me now. May it bring you clarity, and may it allow you to move forward comfortably in your practice daily, in your surrender. Thank you for being here with me, and may you always turn towards love.